Well, if Mike Tyson suddenly turned around and went, I'm now Michelle Tyson and I'm going to compete as a woman, the world would go completely crazy and say, you're going to kill somebody, you're going to kill a woman. But we seem to be perfectly okay with 6'4" swimmers, biological males dominating women's sport,
bizarre,
sprinters,
shouldn't be allowed.
weightlifters.
Bizarre, shouldn't be allowed. And ultimately, you know, whoever you upset, but not sport, not a fair sport, not a fair race, not a fair competition.
To me, it's the same as doping. You're giving yourself a physical advantage.
Exactly, which of course can't be allowed.
Kids and participation prizes at school. If you come last, I used to win the non-finalist race on Sports Day, which was for all the losers, but I used to make sure I was the best loser, right? Because I wasn't an athlete. My two brothers used to win everything, and my sons have been very good at Sports Day, but I wasn't. But I remember the pain of losing, and I wanted to be the best, at least the best loser. But this idea that if you come last, you still get a little prize because they can't be upset. This mindset is where I think this country is going so wrong.
Yeah, and I'm a bad person to ask because I couldn't be more on your side and on your page. Winning, this is how I grew up. Winning is everything.
Right.
It's the only thing that matters. Whatever you do, win.
Yes.
And that's the attitude we have in sport, in business. Doesn't matter if I'm playing my old man over a game of table tennis, he's diving on the floor. You know, it's absolute do or die. Winning is everything. I struggle having two daughters especially, and one is very good at football and she'll get taken off in matches because we have to give everybody a game.
But I hate that.
I know.
Why? Why is she being punished for her ability?
But it's so difficult, you know. I mean, on one stage, we talk about the importance of sport and we talk about encouragement. You can't close the door to a young kid.
No, but you tell the young kid, if you want to be as good as that kid, here's what you've got to do.
But at the same time, we don't want to close the door.
Don't sacrifice your principles.
No, I will never. And you know, as my old
Don't let them take your daughter off.
My old man referred to me recently as a project, you know, and that was like, that's his thing, you know, it's about winning. And we have that mentality. What we must do is we must continue to create winners. Because if it's in sport, if it's in business...
In everything.
In life. And, you know, unfortunately now we live in a world where everybody actually tries to bring the winners down and deflate the winners. You know, make sure they
But this thing of having a school on Sports Day, boys competing with girls, I think is complete madness.
Complete madness.
What are you trying to do to these girls? Kill their self-esteem? Tell them they're not as good as boys simply because the boys have a physical advantage? I think all of it is wrong.
I think completely wrong. And also on the winning argument, ultimately... Kids need to be told. Winning, you know, I used to come home from a game of cricket and my old man would go to me, how'd you get on? I'd go, oh, no good, got a good ball, got 4. Useless.
Right.
What's the matter with you? Go out there tomorrow and go and knock in 100.
Right.
Right? And that was it. That was life. You
but
know,
that, to me, is about teaching someone to want to compete properly. Why bother entering anything that's competitive if you don't want to win? And why is winning such a bad thing these days, right? Nowadays, people who lose get celebrated. If they quit... They get more celebrated than if they compete.
But that's a classic British trait, isn't it? We really do glorify our greatest losers. Almost like, I mean, Frank Bruno's a great example. Was one of the most popular, you know, characters, sportsmen in this country. Won a world heavyweight title. Actually, people sort of went, oh, he's won the world heavyweight title. Yeah. It was like a bit of a disappointment. Our Frank, who couldn't really ever win a world heavyweight title, has won one. I mean, I feel like Andy Murray suffers from that a little bit, you know, through his success. I mean, Tim Henman, another example. Good old Tim, couldn't quite win Wimbledon. We love him. Yeah. You know, and that's sometimes the British mentality. We need to move more towards educating young people that, you know, you have to achieve.
On your cabinet in your office, you have a scoreboard. Eddie v Barry scoreboard. Boxing skills, it says 1-0 to Eddie. Obviously, you beat him. Snooker skills, 1-0 to Barry. He beats you at snooker. Instagram followers, 62 Barry, 1.2 million Eddie. Amazon book, I love this. Amazon book reviews, 33 Barry, 1,370 for Eddie. Height, well, obviously you're taller than him. Golf handicap, you're now beating him. So actually you're quite ahead now on the metric.
Yeah. But I'll tell you one very quick story about my old man, which the book is the one, right? So I get asked to write a book. It's called Relentless. It's about, you know, my work ethic, my love for the business, for sport, all that kind of stuff. Wrote it in 3 months with a ghostwriter during lockdown, right? He's been writing his for 9 or 10 years. You know, I won't want to embarrass him, but I made significantly more money for my fee to write the book than he did. But what he said was, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take more money on commission. So I'm going to make more money than you. After the book was written, fantastic book, took him 6 or 7 years to write the book, I must recommend. He drove around the country with books in the boot and was knocking them out at events to try and outsell me. Right? I think I'd done 60,000, he'd done 8,000 in the end. But this is what I'm up against. You know, he was
but
like...
I get the feeling, though, because you have such a lovely relationship. I've seen it at first hand. And you're very similar in many ways. And he just wanted you to be the best you could possibly be. Even if that meant you were more successful than him, I don't think he really minded that. He just never wanted you to shortchange yourself, right? He wanted you to be the best competitive beast that he could possibly empower you to be.
And he wants me, you know, he wants to be a grafter, he wants to win. And that's the thing with business now. You know, he might say to me, how'd you get on at Dallas Cowboys? You know, how many turned up to that Canelo fight? You know, and he'll say, well, have you seen the ratings for the darts? Smashed your boxing. You know, it's like, Dad, we're in the same company. You know, but that's that.
But I'm like this with my sons, right?
But that's the greatest.
If I go to cricket net with my boys, they'll try and kill me.
Yeah.
I mean, but I want nothing else. I don't want them giving me anything. I don't want to give them anything. When I play table tennis with my daughter, who's 11, I want to beat her so that when she finally beats me, she knows she beat me trying to beat her. That will mean so much more than if I just let her win.
Yeah. That's exactly what happens around my old man's house on a Sunday.
Just want to ask you quickly about Conor Benn, because I interviewed him on this show. He's one of your fighters. I've got to say, I ended that interview really just not sure what to believe, but actually veering slightly. I felt in my gut that he might be telling the truth, that he has been the victim of a miscarriage of justice here over this suggestion that he took illicit drugs. You believe in him. Why? Why are you so convinced?
Because I've known Conor Benn since he was 18, 19 years of age, since he came over from Australia on his own, left his mum and dad there to make a name for himself in boxing. The meticulous nature of his preparation, you know, his love of the sport, you know, his deep faith, all of the things, the way he trains with Tony Sims, the closeness of their relationship, the way that he was so insistent on additional testing that he paid for going into this fight, and the amount of times that I've sat with this young man in my office and watched him break down in tears
he did on the
floor. And for me to question him, I didn't believe him. As soon, you know,
because you've been criticised because you've always ripped into other cheating boxers.
Because you know what, in this instance and in life in general, guilty until proven innocent. My first reaction was, I can't believe it. He wouldn't do that.
Do you believe he'll be exonerated?
I do, and I believe, you know, he went through the right procedure with the WBC and VADA. That's who did the test. He was cleared, he was reinstated in the rankings. Everyone said, oh, he needs to go through UCAD and the British Boxing Board of Control. He turned around and he went, OK, I'll do that as well. He spent hundreds of thousands going through that process, and the result is imminent. And I believe him. And I've had, it's 1 year since the test. Every day. I mean, I've had loads of stick. He's had untold stick.
Incredible.
And if he's cleared, which I believe he will be, I hope that some people understand what he went
Well, look at Kevin Spacey, the actor, who today got found not guilty on all these sex assault charges. He's been already convicted by the Court of Public Opinion on Twitter, mercilessly, called the most horrendous things. And today he's come out an innocent man. Twitter is, and social media generally, is an unforgiving court that just prosecutes people without seeing evidence. And I feel that a little bit about Conor Benn. It'd be interesting to see what happens on that. Before I let you go, how much are you worth?
Me?
If you died tomorrow?
I don't know, and I don't.
Yes, you do.
I don't know.
Yes, you do, Eddie Hearn.
We're doing all right.
You know to the nearest penny.
I tell you what, we're doing all right, but I work like I'm skin every day.
That's a good one. That's a good one. And if you were Prime Minister, which many people think you should be, and you couldn't do a worse job than the Tories have done the last 10 years, let's be honest, what's the first thing you'd do to fix this country?
The first thing I would do would be to increase participation in sport for young children. Our young kids are in a terrible, terrible situation. Social media, disaster. Twitter, toxic. You know, everybody that has ambition, everybody that has desire, everybody that has a strategy in their mind gets derailed by negativity by people who can't do it.
We were saying, I put a video out just before we came on over, me and you, right? And immediately in comes the abuse. About both of us, right? Now, we can handle it. We've got thick skins. I think that I say the one quality I really have is great is I've got an incredibly thick skin. It just washes off me. Most people I know in the public eye find it really hard.
But you know, we can say we've got a thick skin, which we have. You have, I have. But after waking up every morning, it was a great, we said, you know, you wake up in a great mood. You have it's like, what on earth am I reading here? What is going on? And that, there's no point. in infiltrating yourself with negativity. Life's too short. We can handle it. Kids can't.
No.
That's the difference.
And they're being bombarded with constant negative
Non-stop.
stuff.
And the algorithms of content, which is ultimately designed to feed the way they think.
Yeah, you see girls who are talking to each other about self-harming.
Yeah.
Next thing, TikTok is sending them loads of stuff on
Disaster.
self-harming.
Total disaster.
It's feeding a horrible thing.
We, parents have to make sure that you limit that time, and we have to educate the kids. And I think the best way to educate is through sport. Every time you see a kid put down their phone and participate with energy, with a smile on their face, with a desire to win and compete, it's the greatest thing to watch. And whether it's boxing, which I'm a massive fan of, or the government need to make sure that we keep the opportunities, because inner city schools just don't have a sporting system.
They don't. I went from a fee-paying prep school at 12, 13 to comprehensive, and I went from playing 3 hours of sport a day to nothing. Once a week, if someone could find any kit or a teacher. Just not good enough. This country has to do that. I think sport is the answer, actually. It's good for well-being, it's good for physical, for mental, everything. Eddie, I could talk to you all night.
And I felt your guns earlier.
You did feel my guns. Level. And in fact, you would say, why are you not competing?
I need your schedule.
Thank you. Well, you may see my pinned tweet on Twitter, which is Ronaldo telling me what great abs I've got. No, he knows all about abs. Eddie, great to see you.
Thank you.
Come back again. I loved it. We should do more. I really appreciate it. And you're so right about all of it. Thank you.
Yes.